Welcome to this episode of the Voynich Manuscript podcast. I'm Finn Hammersley, and today I'm joined by
Joshua,
Brenden,
and today we'll be talking about the alligators in the sewers. So, you two said that you've both vaguely heard, you said you've vaguely heard about this
Yes.
stuff. So what have you vaguely heard about it?
So many different ways of it starting, like just alligators getting into the sewers and all. Other ones of kids having pet alligators and flushing it and all those types of things. Then it somehow flourishes and grows inside the sewers.
Yeah, well, that is the very basic version of the story. I've obviously got a more in-depth version of it here. So, as late as the middle of the 20th century, souvenir shops in Florida sold live baby alligators in small tanks as novelty souvenirs. Tourists from New York City would buy a baby alligator and try to raise it as a pet.
I thought you'd need, a license to raise...
Not back then.
Not in the 50s.
Wow. 50s was pretty chill.
And I did some digging, and they would, on average, cost, at the time, $1.50 for a baby alligator.
Oh my gosh, I really
I
want
can't
baby
even afford
alligators
that
now.
nowadays.
Which, nowadays, would come to about $45.
Still couldn't afford that.
$45 for an alligator, though.
That is pretty great.
That is pretty cheap, actually.
Yeah.
Now I want
Considering
an
how
alligator.
expensive a lot of animals are nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, I had a fish, and it cost $50, and it was just a fish.
Mind you, I'd be worried my cat would eat the alligator.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the alligator would eat your cat.
Yeah.
No, not this cat.
I think it kind of comes into a bell curve with your cat. It's just like, your cat would eat the alligator, your cat would eat the alligator, the alligator would eat the cat,
Yeah.
your cat would eat the alligator, your cat would eat
Yeah.
the alligator.
Your cat's evil.
Yeah,
Shishka?
Kishka.
He is just very intelligent and knows how to kill.
Yeah, your cat tried killing me once, cut me deep on my finger. I'll
cat-
never forget your cat.
That's your finger.
I'll
It
never
was just
forgive your
warning
cat.
you.
Your cat never actually attacked me.
I was grabbing
Yeah.
my sock. I was going to put on my shoes, I was grabbing my sock, and your cat attacked me.
You see the mistake you made? You thought it was your sock.
I paid for it.
You thought it was your sock, fool!
Oh, I guess just don't bring socks to your house.
Alright, so tourists from New York would buy a baby alligator and try to raise it as a pet. When the alligator grew too large for comfort, the family would proceed to flush the reptile down the toilet.
I'm surprised the toilets didn't get clogged.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same,
With
honestly.
all that gator in there.
I know. I don't think they're made to hold alligators.
So there are versions of this story all over the world. Like there's versions in London, Paris. I think there's one in Sydney. But
I've never heard of that in Sydney.
but crocodiles instead of gators.
That would be a little more terrifying.
Yeah,
God.
crocodiles are way more
Imagine a saltwater crocodile, popping out of a
Just
drain.
one of those like 10 meter, not 10 meter.
Just open up your toilet
Actually-
as a fucking 10 meter.
No, not 10 meters. I mean,
Like-
it would be 4 meters or 5
yeah,
meters.
still that's like 2 meters.
You just open up your toilet lid. There's a massive alligator just crawling out of your toilet. What are you supposed to do there?
How?
What are you supposed to do?
Are your bones made of rubber, crocodile?
Do you just close the lid and walk away?
7 meters
7 meter, Jesus!
and 1,000 kilograms.
Saltwater crocodiles are scary. I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen one.
There
like
are bigger ones.
I've seen
Bigger
one at
ones.
Australia Zoo before.
Yeah.
Fuck me,
There,
Jesus.
there are bigger ones, way bigger. That's just
Yeah.
your average span of a croc.
Fuck me. Anyway, the most popular version of the alligators in the sewers comes from New York. This version of the legend began circulating around the same time actual alligators began making appearances in the bays around the city. In June in 1932, 2 boys brought a dead 3-foot alligator to the Bronx River Parkway Police, confirming at least 3 more alligators alive in the river. A hunting expedition ultimately found no trace, though.
Do you reckon the alligators would get high in the sewers?
From all the methane?
Yeah, especially like in the New York sewers and everything.
From all of that weed.
Because like don't some like people like homeless people sometimes they like will drop them in like the sewers or something like that.
What?
Like just needles.
I have never heard.
Every time like you look on like certain movies or stuff like that, they say like watch out for like needles or something like that in the sewers.
No, never heard that before.
No.
I swear, I've heard it multiple times before. I just imagine a high croc down there.
But imagine trying to get a needle through that like very thick hide of an alligator.
New
They're
croc.
somewhat bullet resistant, so
Yeah, it's scary. Like, have you ever seen that image of the crocodile with a sword in its head and still alive?
I think I have, yeah.
Might not have been a sword. It might have been like a axe or something. But
I can do
Yeah.
that easy.
it's still fucking
But yeah,
terrifying.
like some lower millimeter guns, like can't pierce it.
Yeah, it just ding, bounce
Well,
off.
I have a feeling it wouldn't bounce off, but
Probably just lodge it like
Yeah.
armor.
yeah.
God, that's scary. Imagine like having armor made out of crocodile skin. That would be cool, actually.
But you know what? A croc still couldn't survive a nuke. You know what could survive a nuke? A
Nuke.
cockroach.
Oh.
So
If it's far enough away, maybe. I
And
have a
if
feeling
it's
if it's
fallout.
within the main blast zone, like that fireball, no.
no, it couldn't survive as fireball, but it would be
survive the
like
fallout.
it'd be like one of the
Yeah, it
only
can survive
animals to be
fallout.
able to survive.
Anyway,
And it'll become a mutant cockroach and then chase after you.
it's
Red
called a
roaches.
Rad Roach. Yeah. Play Fallout 76, the best game ever.
Oh, so good. Oh, I love it.
On February 10th, that's not the first time we've ragged off Fallout 76 on this podcast. I think it was on the Mothman episode, actually. Because that's in West Virginia.
Right.
West Virginia.
So, on February 10th, 1935, the New York Times reported on a 7-foot, 125-pound alligator turning up on the sewers near 123rd Street in Harlem. Some neighborhood boys were shoveling snow into a manhole when they came across a diseased alligator.
Huh.
The boys attached a slip knot around the massive creature and pulled it from the sewers, but no pictures confirmed the events of the crazy day.
I mean, a Slipknot's my favourite band.
Did how heavy was that croc again, did you say?
125 pounds.
Well, that alligator? That sounds so light for an alligator.
Well, he
why
said
did
it was
they-
diseased, so
Yeah.
probably malnourished.
Why did they weigh it? What gave
Well,
them that?
one would assume they went off just visuals.
Oh,
I mean, that's less than 60 kilos.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. Which is, but that sounds so light for something that's 7 foot and with that thick armor and fat skin. Like,
What if that croc was just anorexic and then you just pick on it because of how like skinny it looks? You're like, oh, it's only like 60 kilos, and maybe the croc's gonna be upset now.
Don't pick on anorexic people, that's a dick move.
I'm just saying, you're picking on that croc.
No! I was just
it's
saying-
okay to pick on them if they died
He
ages
couldn't
ago.
find many
Yeah.
food in the sewer.
It's fine to pick on them if they died in the 30s.
Well, I mean, I don't think they can really get good food in the sewer if that's where it came from.
Yeah, it's just shit. Literal shit.
Exactly. There's probably going to be malnourished.
So, in 1959, a man named Robert Daly wrote a book called The World Beneath the City, and it recalls many stories told to him by New York City residents about like the Undercity, and sometimes literally under the city. He recalls a story told to him by New York City Superintendent of Sewers, Teddy May. For years, May had heard rumours of alligator congregations from his employees.
No, I feel like that'd be a shit job. Being a superintendent of the sewers.
Boom.
Yeah, I'm tempted to add like a laugh track there.
But nah, just What do you tell people? What do you do? I'm a superintendent of the sewers.
No, I reckon if you had that job, you'd just say, "Oh, I'm the superintendent of the sewers."
I'm the superintendent of what? Oh, it doesn't really matter.
Schools, you could say that. They're both really shit places.
Nobody asks you questions if you say you're an accountant.
That's a good song.
You're an accountant, aren't you?
No.
I'm certainly not. Anyway. So the Teddy May, the superintendent of the sewers, had suspected these alligator rumours to be legends. However, one night on a search for these creatures, he detected alligators serenely paddling and a colony that appeared to have settled contently under the very streets of the busiest city in the world.
All I imagine there is just going down and seeing like little huts and that built with the crocs coming in and out. Like bye, honey, I'm going away.
I mean, there was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle character based off the alligators in the sewers. I think it was like Leatherhead or something.
Yeah.
And I just imagine that.
Just a colony just walking out of the huts, and the superintendent just walks down there and is like.
The alligator with his big trench coat trill behind him. Bye, honey. Oh shit! Goes into the water.
Imagine trying to explain that to your boss. Yeah, there's huts and everything. There was an alligator in a suit with a fedora on, just walking out of the hut.
If you got a photo of that would be brilliant.
I mean, it probably exists. Someone's drawn that somewhere.
Probably.
So he continued on to say rat poison and 22 gauge rifles were supposedly used on the alligator hunts, although there is little evidence to back up May's claims.
Why would you use rat poison on alligators?
To poison them?
But it's made for rats.
No, rat poison is just poison.
Why do I specifically say rat poison?
Because it's in small pellets made for rats. Because the reason rat poison works on rats but not humans is because rats don't have a gag reflex, they can't throw it up, so it just sits in their body and kills them.
So does that mean that alligators don't have a gag reflex?
I don't know, you might have just tried it.
I don't know,
I just learned
does
how rat
alligators
poison
have
works.
a gag reflex?
Yeah, there you go. Fun fact, everyone learned something for once on this podcast. Because this podcast so far has been nothing but bullshit. So...
Are you saying all these stories are fake, Finn?
What?
Finn!
No! I would never say so. Yes, they are.
How dare you? No, I am sure that many of these things are real.
Let's say they're called stories for a reason.
Very true ones.
As recently as the 23rd of August 2010, witnesses in Queens reported seeing an 18-inch alligator. That's what I call my dick. The mystery resolved when it was reported that the alligator had fallen from a ship and dragged itself from the East River to residential areas.
Oh my gosh.
Fallen from the ship onto land or into water?
Into water, and then just dragged itself through the East River.
How would you drag yourself in water? You could just swim. You don't have to drag yourself.
I'm just saying what the report said, okay?
By the way, alligators do have gag reflexes, so I don't really think that
rat poison would have worked on them.
Are you wait, how do you know they have gag reflexes?
I've tried.
Okay, I was about to say, what have you been doing with them?
I went to Australia to I am that neat that they dangle over the crocodile pen.
I've done some stuff. Just can't say it on the podcast.
Crocodile blowjob. Some versions go further to suggest that after the alligators were disposed at such a young age, it would live the majority of its life in an environment not exposed to sunlight, and thus would apparently lose its eyesight and the pigment in its hide, and that reptile would grow to be blind and completely albino.
Hey, my brethren.
Blind and albino.
Exactly. Not blind yet, but albino, yes.
Another reason why an albino alligator would retreat to an underground sewer is its vulnerability to the sun in the wild, as there is no dark pigment in the creature's skin to protect it from the sun, which makes it hard to survive in the wild.
That's why I stay in my dark room.
Yeah.
It damages me.
Then you'd think, why wouldn't it just do what hippos do and just coat itself in mud? because hippos use mud as like a natural sunblock.
Well, wouldn't
It's
it
just
just get
extra effort.
wouldn't it just get washed off when they go back into the water though?
Not if, I guess not if it hardens, like they have enough layers, I guess.
Yeah, but that's just an extra process would make it harder to hunt and all, I'd assume.
Yeah. Anyways,
Evolution.
evolution with the podcast. Some people even spoke of mutant alligators living in the sewers, which have been exposed to many different types of toxic chemicals, which may have altered them, making them deformed and even larger, with strange colouring. A gigantic mutant alligator based on these myths appeared in the 1980 film Alligator.
I mean,
Nice.
the only mutants in the sewers are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
the
but
movies.
what about Leatherhead, the alligator we just discussed?
You're always forgetting about him, Brenden.
Oh, yeah.
Always forget Leatherhead. Next
Look.
you'll be saying you don't know about Bebop and Rocksteady.
I know they're great characters.
Yeah.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are actually based off of true stories.
What are Bebop and Rocksteady? What creatures are they?
Come on, Brenden. They're like two of the most famous TMNT characters.
I know I know Bebop from Rocksteady. I know who they are. I just can't remember the animals they are. I think one. You're putting me on the spot here, and I can't remember.
Let me give you a hint. I have been described as looking as both of these animals. If that helps.
It doesn't help. But I know because like in the shows they like dress like real 80s, don't they?
Yeah, obviously
Yeah,
it's
they
from
just-
the 80s.
No, but they
They
like dress.
drink really punk rock.
Yeah, they're like what you'd expect like a typical 80s guy to dress as. Not hippie 80s guys, but yeah.
That's what Bebop and Rocksteady are.
Yeah.
Wow.
See?
Wow. So you didn't even know. So why would you
Oh
ask
yeah,
me the
no, I had
question?
no bloody clue.
Why
I
would you
just
ask me
wanted
the
to watch
question
you
then?
struggle.
Can you tell me what a krang is, Brenden?
A crane is like the brain-looking creature. It's
Very
pink
good.
and all that. See, I just can't remember what animals they are.
Boink.
A pig
It's one of them.
and hippo. No,
Close. Rhinoceros.
rhinoceros. There you
Yeah.
go.
A hippo with a sharp nose.
Pretty much.
A horn.
No, it's a sharp nose. Everyone knows
hippo
that.
with a sharp. Okay, I was thinking rhinoceros. What? They are all of them have that. All right. Fun fact: Alligator is awful. I've seen it. It is a shit film. It had a sequel in 1991 called Alligator 2. I think it was called Mutant Strikes Back or something.
You know what else is a good movie?
What?
Sharknado.
I actually saw read an article and they did cite Sharknado in this. I don't know why, but anyway. One 1927 account describes the experience of a Pittsburgh Bureau of Highways and Sewers employee who was assigned the task of cleaning out a section of sewer pipe on Royal Street in the north side section of the city. His account reads that he removed the manhole cover and began to clear an obstruction when he realised that a set of evil-looking eyes were staring at him. He then removed a 3-foot alligator and took it home with him. There were numerous recent media accounts of alligators occupying storm drains and sewer pipes all from states in the southern US. But can we just say the cojones on that guy going, a pair of evil-looking eyes, pulling out a 3-foot alligator and going, I'm going to take him home with me.
I respect that.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if Steve Irwin saw it, he probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, but he got stung in the chest by a stingray. There's nothing he can do
How
about it
dare
now.
you? How dare
How?
you?
I dare, because I'm not Australian.
Wow, that utter disrespect. You have.
Finn has just said here, live on this podcast, that he hates Steve Irwin.
What?
You step foot in this country, and you dare disrespect.
I've been a citizen of this country for about 7 years.
Then
You
you
can
should treat our icons better.
You can disrespect Crocodile Dundee, but you cannot disrespect
Disrespect
Steve Irwin.
I've only been to Australia Zoo once.
You've still been, and you're saying these things about him?
I haven't been
How
to
dare you.
Australia Zoo, but he.
How
is an
dare
icon.
you?
I don't have the money all the time.
That's what our next road trip's gonna be.
Oh hell yeah, let's go! I'm
That
keen.
actually doesn't sound like a bad idea.
No, it doesn't. And
I
it's
want
not
to
far.
see what I want to
It's
see
not,
what
it's only on the sunny coast.
Yeah, it's like hour and a half drive.
I want to see how Robert Irwin's gone, how much he's like his dad.
I don't think I've been in a few years.
I haven't been since grade 5.
I went a few times and actually saw Steve Owen back when he was alive.
Yeah.
Alright, so in Paris, France, I don't know why I specified France, everyone knows what Paris is.
Wait, where's Paris?
France.
Oh, really?
A Nile crocodile was captured by firefighters in the sewer below Pont Neuf, bridge on March 7th, 1984.
Do you reckon there's mutant alligators in the catacombs?
In the catacombs?
Oh.
Wouldn't that be terrifying?
Yeah.
Walk around and you just hear like a whatever noise crocodiles make.
Yeah, turn around the corner and it's just glowing eyes, giant looking crocodile alligator. Like, fuck it, run. No, I'm not staying here.
Well, it's a Nile crocodile, so they're the ones that have like the real pointy nose, like a pointy snout, like a caiman.
Nile? Like Nile Horan from One Direction?
No, like Nile the river, you dipshit.
Brenden is a very big One Direction fan.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Everyone knows. It's like, even if you don't know Brenden, you know he loves 1D.
Yeah, exactly. Only 1D.
And this crocodile that was found in Paris, France, they named Eleanor, and currently still lives in a local aquarium.
Huh. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Animal captivity is really cool. Let's go.
That's it. And now we're all in the wrong. Josh endorses
Damn
animal
it.
captivity.
Damn it.
God damn it, Josh.
Only if it's to help the animals.
This one isn't.
You're
He
too,
was just found in a river. Or she was named Eleanor.
You're too late now.
A 2 foot or 0.61 meter baby crocodile, or alligator, sorry, was caught in 2010 by the New York Police Department in the sewers in Queens.
Or do they just go fishing?
Pull up a manhole, fish like down.
I'm just curious about something. Did you say 2 foot, 1.6 meters?
Yeah.
That doesn't line
Sorry,
up.
0.6 meters.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say those measurements don't sound quite right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Josh, that we're not as much of a nerd as you are.
What's that to do with being a nerd?
God, Josh, don't know your measurements much.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. I don't know how long an inch is. For a foot.
It's about that.
Finn's just
Isn't
measuring
it like-
downstairs.
Isn't it like
Good one.
isn't it like 12 inches in a foot?
Yeah, good job.
Oh yeah, my foot isn't 12 inches, but I don't know how that works.
But my 12 inches is a foot. So yeah, however, it's unlikely that a fully grown adult alligator would survive for long in New York due to the cold winter temperatures. Because, like, my brother can attest to this because he's been to New York in the winter and apparently it gets fucking cold.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect that with snow and all that, eh?
No, you wouldn't.
No.
It's
You
all of those Hallmark Christmas movies set in New York. You
Well-
wouldn't believe it.
If you get really cold, just stand like on the street near all the cars. That will be like revving really hot.
You know what? Thanks to global warming, these temperatures will be good for the crocodiles pretty soon.
Yeah!
Woo!
New York is the new Florida.
I mean, they're in the sewers just because the cars are on top and they're always running, so it then heats up the floor to heat up the sewer.
Yes.
Can't argue with that
It's
logic.
just indoor
No
heating.
flaws.
Or just go into the sewers, light a match. All of those sewer gases.
I wonder if that would actually work.
No,
No.
But would there be enough methane down there?
no, it wouldn't.
No, because there is a lot of ventilation in the sewers.
Ah, true.
Alligators have been sighted in the drains and sewers of Florida as recently as 2017.
Who's going in the sewers to sight them? Except for the workers, they'll go in and just be like, "Oh, look, there's another alligator." Okay.
Fucking crazy people. Due to many of these waste outlets backing onto swamps, this is why a lot of the alligators are getting in. Due to storm surges and the cold winter months, alligators sometimes shelter in convenient drains and hunt for rats to supplement their diet.
Yeah, they're pretty high in protein, right? The rats.
That's pretty much all I've got written down, but I did find an article, and it's just like a bunch of news headlines about, like, from the 1930s and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
You know who's my favorite mutant alligator?
Who?
Killer Croc, because it's a crocodile, not an alligator. So,
You fucked it. It's not letting me look at the article anymore.
You need to pay 50 cents a week if you would
I'm
like to
not
watch this.
paying 50 cents.
wow, cheapskate.
I was
There are
looking-
ways to get around this, but we'd have to pause the podcast, and
No,
we are definitely not getting around this. Ha ha ha.
A lot of the articles were basically just. A lot of them were headlines were basically just crocodile found in sewer, and just like locals baffled or boys adopt or something like that. And some of them even showed like people. One of them had a dude in a gimp suit just holding the crocodile.
You just see a croc and you're like, oh, look at
I'm
how
kinda
cute
just
he is.
curious
Look at
what-
how cute he is. Come here, boy. Come here.
and
And then your hand gets bitten off.
I'm still on the fact that that there was a guy in a gimp suit next to it.
Well, I say gimp suit. He was in like a full leather onesie,
I question what that man was doing.
and this was in the 30s.
He was going to a brothel.
in a gimp suit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, haven't we all?
Does
Oh,
America
yeah,
even have
100%.
brothels?
Every Friday.
Doesn't America not have brothels or something like that?
It's a state. Depends on the state.
Yeah. You would know this.
Prostitution. What? Why?
You do your research before you go, right?
to the brothels or on the podcast?
To the
He's
brothels.
researched a lot of things for this podcast, and he
I
didn't think
have.
for brothels he would need to, but he's done it.
He's done it. He did the research.
Yes, I needed to.
Yeah, because you know we're going to bring up brothels, right?
I mean, you're on the podcast. I knew that brothels would come up eventually.
Wow, I'm so glad you know me.
Know him so well. It's
Kind of scary.
Kinda. Unless you got any final thoughts, that's pretty much all I've got to say about gators in the sewers.
Why are people so concerned about alligators being in the sewer? I mean, unless they're somewhat flexible and going to climb up through your toilet pipes. I mean,
Well, I think I read somewhere that nowadays the idea of gators in the sewers is quite preposterous because of modern day sewers.
yeah.
Because they're a lot smaller, and like the movies have kind of led us astray in what sewers look like, because they're not these vast open tunnels.
They used to be massive though,
used to
because
be.
they'd have to do maintenance down there, so they'd have to be able to go down there. But now,
But nowadays they're like max 2-3 feet.
Yeah. I have actually heard modern things about this in the sense that it's just not possible.
I believe in alligators in the sewers like back in the day, but nowadays I don't think it's possible.
I reckon it would be more possible in like rural areas or like areas with a lot of
I reckon there's at least one
storms.
alligator in the catacombs.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if there has been a very few amount of them. Like, I've seen a, this is going to sound a little ridiculous for a second. I've seen a stingray in a sewer.
That doesn't surprise here in Australia.
Yeah, in Australia.
Yeah,
So
that
that,
really
that doesn't surprise
But
me. They're
it-
all over the fucking shop. And one killed Steve Owen.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it was like near one of the openings that lead out, and
All right.
By the way, after this podcast, Finn is getting deported.
And beat up is I feel.
force-fed Vegemite.
He's gonna get
I like Vegemite. Okay.
Okay, there's at least 1 point towards you.
I'm
Yeah.
an Australian citizen. I love this country more than I love England.
Apparently not. You're making fun of one of our biggest icons.
Our biggest icon.
Our biggest icons.
Actually, do we have any bigger icons?
Yeah, we do.
Who?
The Wiggles.
No, I'd still go Steve Owen.
Steve Owen, but a lot of people do know the Wiggles. Like anywhere,
Yeah.
everyone knows the
I'd
Wiggles.
say nowadays probably the Wiggles. Like, ask a kid nowadays who
hate the
they
new
know
Wiggles,
better,
I'm
the
sorry.
Wiggles or Steve
But
Owen.
like, not to be sexist or anything, but ever since they brought a girl to the Wiggles, it kind of ruined it.
Brendan is very sexist.
Brenden is sexist.
Because like with that, all the kids would be like, I want to be the yellow Wiggle, I want to be this Wiggle, I want to be that Wiggle, and they could do it because there was just a group of four men, pretty much just performing, and then now that they have a female in there and she's the yellow Wiggle,
She's left now.
all the girls.
She's leaving.
She's leaving, but all the girls are like, yeah, I want to be the yellow Wiggle, I want to be the yellow Wiggle. They get like a red Wiggle costume. I don't want to be that. No, ew, I don't want to be that.
I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think it was kind of time.
Yeah, it seems like it allows him to open up to more things. It's just you
Yeah.
didn't grow up with it, so it doesn't seem right to you.
It just
It's like
doesn't
Doctor
feel right.
Who. Like,
Yeah.
it was time for a female doctor.
I reckon they were building up to the female Doctor. They were, but I feel like they should have ended the Wiggles after a certain point, and they could have brought something else in.
Yeah, a new child's entertainment band.
Yeah, but
The
like,
Woggles.
yeah, bring something else in. You know, don't keep it going with something that's old but new.
I think they've done a pretty good job of it, though, probably.
Yeah.
The fact that it's still running.
The purple wiggle and the yellow wiggle got engaged, and then that caused more controversy.
Why did it cause controversy?
Because...
Did they get divorced, or...?
No.
I could understand, but...
Just some kids were just like, ew, I don't want him to be the purple wiggle.
Mm.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the new purple wiggle is, like, named, like, Craig or something.
Wait, isn't he that guy that was semi-famous before joining the Wiggles?
I don't know.
He was in Justice Crew. Is the new one.
Yeah, and he's actually like a professional dancer or something.
And he's not like sleeping. He's not like the sleepy like purple wiggle like wake up Jeff kind of thing. It's now
he's a buff one.
Yeah, he's like a buff. I'm like I'll work out and stuff like that. So now all the kids want to be buff and shit and work out like how.
Do it, kids. Get buff.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see the kids ripped.
But I feel like there's something that you shouldn't really be.
Your glasses don't help then.
Should be very careful with my words here.
My biggest flex is that I've seen the original Wiggles in person live show several times.
I saw them once.
You know what I've seen? I saw High Five.
You saw the poor man's Wiggles.
Nice.
No, but High Five was actually really good.
I didn't enjoy High Five even as a kid.
I liked it as a kid.
Yeah, but you weren't Aussie. Okay?
I was.
You weren't Aussie.
I came here when I was 3.
Yeah, you weren't born here, were you?
Fuck you.
That's why you didn't like High Five. Yeah, it's just you have to be born here.
My brother actually has a great story about the Wiggles because he used to work at Dreamworld where the Wiggles used to perform, and he had a smoke break with the Wiggles, which is I always find hilarious.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say. It's just like if you want to enjoy a VB, you have to have a mullet. It's just a requirement.
I'm not getting a mullet. I don't drink. I barely drink.
No one drinks VB unless they have a mullet.
No one drinks VB unless they hate themselves.
It's a legal requirement. You can't enjoy VB if you don't have a mullet.
I was just going to quickly say, back to the alligators though.
Thank you.
Definitely real at some point in my mind, but these days, no.
Yeah,
I agree with that. See, this one wasn't really a mystery, more of just an interesting story.
Sweet.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't really think we have much more to say. We're just digging into my Australianness.
Sweet. Cool.
Yeah,
sweet.
I guess I've been Finn.
I've been Josh.
And I've been that one guy in the corner.
Brenden. And I guess bye.